Yo, it's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network, and this is the Heaven Hollywood Report, and let's get to it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And we're going to get into the truth behind Joe Budden being accused of sexual harassment. Now, just to give a little backstory, we all know Joe Budden has had problems in the past with domestic violence issues. He's had issues, business wise. He's had issues with, again, putting his hands on women, pills, drugs, what have you, in his music career. So everyone knows Joe Budden's resume. Okay. Now, we have heard Esther Baxter, his former girlfriend, accuse him of causing her to miscarriage by saying he sat on her stomach while she was pregnant. She miscarried. We've heard Tahiri accuse him of putting his hands on her. We've heard at least two other females say they put their hands on. Rocky Thunder said it on that recently, and then there was another female who said it, and I'm not sure, who else, but I believe there was one other of his ex-girlfriends who said he put his hands on her. Okay, so Joe Budden, as we all know, over the last week, he was once again in the headlines, fired his two co-hosts. They come on, pretty much expose Joe, saying he was lying, and basically saying they had a percentage partnership, and Joe didn't hold up that end of the contract, and it was a big old mess because he fired him on TV. And they pretty much saying that Joe was lying. Okay. Or Joe is being shady, we'll say. Now, as soon as that happens, now all of a sudden today, oliviadope, who was a host of Joe's podcast, See the Thing Is, okay? See the Thing Is, that was a podcast on Joe Budden Network. Now she's coming out and accusing Joe Budden of sexual harassment, saying it took place actually during a show that Joe ended up editing out 3 months ago. Now, I think you should be allowed to speak up whenever you want on certain issues. However, when do we stop and where do we draw the line? When is it too long? Now, what she was saying was, with the sexual harassment, Joe told her multiple times that he wanted to F her, pretty much wanted to sleep with her. He was making comments about, her shirt, the way it was buttoned, and, about her being single, and different comments pretty much coming on to her on the air. She said that the producers and the castmates heard it, but the castmates pretty much want to just solidify their spot, so they really didn't say anything, and everyone was laughing uncomfortably, this, that, and the other. So, from what we know, he was pretty much flirting with his co-host and coming on to her and making comments that was uncomfortable in her mind, making comments that was uncomfortable. Now, again, I don't believe she's not on the podcast anymore. She came out with the whole, well, I've been contemplating this for, however long a time she's been contemplating it. And I've now decided to come out and make this statement against Joe. Now, I just don't think it's a coincidence that right behind Joe Budden firing his cast members, his two co-hosts. I don't see that it's a coincidence that all of a sudden now, after he fires the two co-hosts, now here comes these claims of sexual harassment. Now, listen, I'm all for victims, women being victims. I'm all about protect women, not just protect black women. I'm all about protect women. All right? But when is too long? She sat and she described what happened that day after Joe so-called offended her. He then said, I want to come on air and give a group hug to lighten the mood. She said, okay. Well, why would you say okay if you're so offended and you were sexually harassed? He said to you he wanted to F you. Oh, I think that you, because she knows I want to F her and all this other, what she said he said on air, but it was later edited. So if he's saying these things to you, why didn't you take your headphones off and say, you know what, F this. I'm uncomfortable. You're a pig or whatever. I quit. No, you kept going on with the show. And not only that, gave him a hug 2 times after that. Or one time, whatever it was, he said, I want to give a group hug. So then she says that he gave a group hug and she didn't notice, but when they played it back, he was moving his hips around when she gave him the hug. But when he did it, she didn't notice it. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, y'all. And y'all can get mad or say, oh, what gives you a right to tell her how long she has to say something? Listen. You knew Joe Budden's pedigree. You knew his resume. For her to sit and say, maybe I should have did a little bit more research about, how it is working with him. I did hear about previous allegations, so that pretty much should have been a red flag. Exactly. So who does that sound like? Sounds a lot like Rory. Oh, I should have seen the signs. I should have seen the signs. But no, you didn't leave. Why? Because you wanted to reap the benefits, Rory. And that is the same thing I have to say about this girl, Oliviadope. You wanted to hang around. Don't tell me, oh, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt and hope maybe it would stop if I showed him hints. Please. You are looking for a money grab. I guarantee you she'll bring in Lisa Bloom or somebody like that. You're looking for a money grab now. And they always want to say, oh, I'm not looking for money. I have my own money. No, you're looking for a money grab. You're going to tell me that you've never had a man tell you he wanted to F you? But the fact that it is a celebrity that you know is getting ready to get a big bag, okay, now all of a sudden you want to bring it up or can bring it up in the public, and I'm sure she'll be filing a sexual harassment lawsuit to try to get millions of dollars from Joe. We already know it's coming. My thing is this. Am I defending Joe? Absolutely not. Joe, if you did that, you should know better, bro. You're 40 years old. You've been around the block 30,000 times. You already know how these females give it up, especially in the music industry, Joe. So something like this, you should definitely have been aware and much more careful about what you say, especially to someone that you have employed. So, no, Joe knows better. And I'm not defending Joe. If that is what he said, and if that is what he did, he needs to be held accountable. However, what I'm saying is she should also be held accountable for and be asked, well, why did you continue on? If you were so offended, if you felt harassed, why did you continue on with the show? Why didn't you take off your headset and say, I'm done? I cannot work in this environment. I cannot work for this man. I'm not going to be a sex object. Whatever. I'm done. Didn't do that. And now it was 3 months later when she sees that Joe is under the microscope. Now she wants to come out with this. Let me tell you the real tea behind this whole situation. I think Joe Budden is being set up. That's right, I said it. I think Joe Budden is being set up. Now you can come with me, you can say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, or oh, you're reaching. But I know how the industry works. I know how stuff behind the scenes, how strings get pulled behind the scenes. Most of you do not. Most of you are stans that just follow social media, follow celebrity news, follow celebrity gossip, and plug in with your opinion, which most of the time means nothing. And most of the time you don't even know the backstory behind everything. Joe fires Maul on the air. Well, fires Rory on the air. Rory has ties with Roc Nation. Okay, as we all know, Joe recently brought to the mic about Jay-Z saying to him in public when Joe asked him why he dissed him. And Jay-Z said, Joe talked about 5 things that Jay-Z took from him. And Joe reported back that Jay-Z said, so? And Rory and Maul just laughed at him. So now Joe fires Maul, who is brothers to Biggs, who works with Jay, and Rory, who has ties to Roc Nation, even though it's probably something like Waterboy or something like that. It's nothing big. I can see them or somebody get in her ear and say, he's under the microscope. Remember what he said to you? I think if you bring that up now, we can all get paid out of this. I believe Joe's being set up. I believe this girl wasn't going to say anything. I believe she wasn't going to say anything. But right now she's starting off saying, oh, I'm just want to warn people to not work with Joe. But no, a lawsuit is coming. A lawsuit is coming. And since then, Rocky Thunders came out and said, Joe Budden put his hands on me. And she dragged Ebro in the morning into it, said Ebro knew, and Ebro said, you have to work out your differences with Joe Budden or you're not going to work in this industry. So, Joe, be prepared because there's going to be more. By the time they're done with this thing, it's going to be 4 or 5 women that said Joe Budden either sexually assaulted, sexually harassed, or assaulted them. And I'm sorry, like I said, I'm all for the victims, if it's legitimate. That sounds like a man who was flirting with you. That does not sound like a man who sexually assaulted or sexually harassed. He's flirting with you, pretty much. Was it inappropriate? If that is a boss, if that's your boss, yes, it's very inappropriate. But you're sitting up there. Wait, just give me a second. Just give me a second. This has been troubling me for 3 months. He said he wanted to F you. Did he throw you down? Did he squeeze your butt? None of that. Did he fill you up? Did he tell you, oh, you either sleep with me or you're going to lose this job? Did he Harvey Weinstein you? Or was he just making comments? These women kill me with this. Know that there's a way you can get a money grab, and now all of a sudden you're bringing this up now. If this was a dude who said he wanted to F you and you knew he didn't have no money, you would just curse him out and keep it moving. Anyway, Joe, be prepared. The truth behind this is there's going to be more women that come out. And don't be surprised you see Lisa Bloom or Gloria Allred or somebody like that. So be careful, Joe. But you should know better. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network.